All right. We're gonna do a movie review. Hopefully, EK can pull up the image at some time. But I saw the 1996 movie Sleepers. Now it's a ton of people in it. Lots of Robert De Niro, Kevin Bacon. What's his name? What's his name? Rain Man, Dustin Hoffman. Yeah, Sleepers, 1996 film. It yeah, Brad Pitt, Jason Patrick, Dustin Hoffman, Robert De Niro, and Kevin Bacon. Le nouveau film de l'essor de Renan. Is that the from the director of Rain Man? But it's a really good movie. You pull up that picture, man. Sleepers. Yeah, we're on a movie review. Oh no. Yeah. It's almost as good as The Count of Monte Cristo, which is referenced several times in this movie. If you're going to watch this, strap in. It's heavy. All right. It deals with some pretty rough stuff. Okay. But what I really like is it has this like first part, which is all stuff that happened when they were kids, with like like between like 10 and 15. And then there's the second part, which is them as adults. And I think that's kind of the sleeper element. They say in the movie that sleepers are people who are in the juvenile correction system, who faced abuse or something like that, are called sleepers. And I don't know. It seems like I think it's called sleepers because you sat on, your vengeance, your bloody satisfaction, for a very long time, and that's sleeping on something. All right, so this story is about a bunch of kids in like Hell's Kitchen, New York, and just a couple of troublemaking, kids, and so they had this. They get into, they do rapscallion stuff, like they go up to, and this is what happened, and this is what got them in trouble. They went up to a hot dog, had one guy go up to the hot dog vendor. The other boys are hanging out nearby, and you order a hot dog, hot dog, mustard, and onions. And they say, "Oh, hand me a couple napkins." The guy reaches for the napkins, and the kid runs off. And then the guy, the hot dog vendor, is faced with the dilemma: leave his stock there and chase him down, or stay there and just lose the hot dog. All right, and then the rest of the boys will go get another hot dog vendor. But this guy chased the kid, started chasing him around Hell's Kitchen, trying to get his hot dog back. And so the other boys just come up to his cart and just start feasting on hot dogs. uh, it's theft. It's wrong. You shouldn't do this kind of thing. But they decide just to mess with the guy by moving his cart, his hot dog cart. So they start moving around. Eventually, the guy who stole the original hot dog, he circles back around and meets up with them by the cart, with the guy still hot on his heels. And they're like, "Oh no, we got to do something." So they take the hot dog cart over to the subway platform, and they say, "What we're gonna do is gonna like hang it over the edge, and then when he comes up, we'll let go and run, and then he'll have to hold on to his hot dog cart to keep it from going down the stairs." You see where this is going? Unfortunately, the boys weren't strong enough to hold the hot dog cart once they got it over the edge, and they had to let it go or else be dragged down with it. And this is right as the guy whose hot dog cart it is comes running up, and the hot dog cart just down the stairs and ends up hitting somebody, killing a guy. So they get arrested and placed into juvenile corrections. Something similar happened to me last night. I was coming home from work, and I had a 12-pack of beer, and it slipped out of my hands on the top of the stairs, and it just da-dong, 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 da-dong. It's like, oh man. So I had to wait an hour. I waited an hour for opening them, and even when I did, like through 6 of them, they're still. It really shook them up good. Anyway, but a guy died in the film. Brief aside. So the kids get locked up. There's like for a year and a half for some of them, in like juvenile corrections in New York. And there's some guards there, and those guards are terrible, terrible, terrible men, and they do awful, awful sexual things to these young boys on a regular basis. And so they spent like a year and a half living in this like constant terror of someone coming into your room and so forth. And then like taking you to some secret area of the juvenile correction center and having their way with you. All right. And Kevin Baker's kind of the ringleader of these guys. And what a fantastic actor he was. He did a really good job in this movie. when you have like those cold blue eyes like he has, it's like it makes your villain he look even like worse. You know, it was really good because he did play a very good villain. And so yeah, terrible things happen to them in this movie, and then they get out, and then it fast forwards. I think that happened like in '66 or something like that, and it fast forwards to like '81, I think. And two of the guys in this group, Robert De Niro plays a priest that knows this group of boys, and he's a tough talking, cigarette smoking priest. He's honestly trying to help the young people in the neighborhood, knowing that they're going to end up in a lot of trouble, especially guys like these troublemakers. And they kind of do. I mean, you can imagine if you got in trouble for accidentally killing a guy as a kid, and then you went to juvenile corrections, and then you're horribly sexually abused, you're probably not going to be doing well in adulthood. And so two of these guys are like known alcoholics, known drug addicts, and criminals. And they come into a bar one day, and one of them goes to the bathroom, and he spots Kevin Bacon in the back of the bar, having eating a steak or something like that, drinking a beer. And he comes back and tells his friend is like, go look at the table in the back. Tell me who you see. And he goes, yeah, that's him. That's him. And then they go to a room in the back, and they pull out their guns and make sure they're loaded. And they come and they confront him. And you can imagine what happens. But the other two guys, all right, have somewhat been well adjusted. You can see like Brad Pitt and Jason Patrick. They're kind of the smarter of the four. And Brad Pitt's character is a district attorney or a prosecutor for the city. And apparently, over the years, he's been collecting all sorts of information on these guards that did these awful things to them. And as soon as they start talking about, they talk about like revenge and stuff like that. There's a lot of references to the Count of Monte Cristo, obviously, like I mentioned. But and so as soon as they start talking about revenge, they're immediately all on board. It's like because these two criminal types in their group accidentally stumbled upon the Kevin Bacon character, murdered him. Now they're going to trial, all right, for murder. So as a prosecutor, he's prosecuting his friends. And they were kind of mad. It's like, why would he take the case? He's our friend, and a judge, if the judge knew that, he would say that's a conflict of interest. He shouldn't be a part of it. But he says, I'm prosecuting them. And but he's going to throw the case. And this is what you find out is I'm going to throw the case so that they get off for killing the guy who abused us. And I'm going to call some character witnesses of the murdered man, of Kevin Bacon's the murdered man. And those character witnesses are going to be the other guards. So I'm going to call one of the other guards in and question him about the abuse and see what happens on the stand. And these guys, they get their revenge, and just like in the Count of Monte Cristo, you're just as hungry for it by the end of the movie as the main characters are. You want that to happen. And if you read the Count of Monte Cristo, there's a point in the book where he's like, I could take what I've taken. I could take what I've won and go. I got, what's her name? Mercedes. I got her. I got my son. I got the riches. I can just take what I've won and go. Screw Count Mondego. Forget about it. And in that point in the book, you're like, oh man, no real revenge. And then you get it at the end of the movie. And the reason why the Count of Monte Cristo is so good is because of the bloody satisfaction, because of the revenge. And when it comes to sleepers, you get the revenge, you get the good feelings, but it's also because this movie it's obviously a tragedy. It's either comedy or tragedy. This is obviously a tragedy, and it ends tragically because obviously, even though they got their revenge, they're still all messed up from their experiences, and so they have tough lives. Like even the prosecutor guy, Brad Pitt, he's real cold and distant, doesn't really like bad at relationships with everyone. He's just like, and Jason Patrick's character, he doesn't sleep without the light on, so forth, and they're messed up. And even after they got their bloody satisfaction, the two guys that killed Kevin Bacon's character, who got off scot-free. Hey, we weren't there. That some priest showed up and said he was with them. He was at a basketball game with them. Gave him an alibi. Ah, shit! I probably shouldn't have said that. I'm ruining the whole movie for you. Sorry. And it's funny, like Dustin Hoffman. It's interesting because he's a big name, especially in the '90s. Just Rain Man was still popular and so forth, and he was a big name, but his character was real, like a kind of a doofus and a drunk, and they purposely put him in this position to make it look like they're so that they can't spot the fix. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, the prosecutor screwed up, even though the defense attorney was a screw up. He still won the case. And then Brad Pitt's character is like, oh, I screwed this up. I screwed up royally. I don't belong in law, and he quits law. So, good story about revenge. Bloody Satisfaction. Sleepers, 1996 movie. 12 of 13 stars. -1 star for the trauma Kevin Bacon vicariously inflicted upon me. It's rough. If you can stomach that kind of stuff, then it's a really good movie. No pederasty in Count of Monte Cristo, I don't think. At least I don't remember.